Charitable acts are encouraged in Islam as it instills the spirit of humanity among the Muslims in helping each other. Waqf, or known as Waqafah, is one of the charitable acts that is deduced as an act of right dispensation in minimizing the gap between the rich and the poor. It is considered a voluntary donation similar to endowment, but according to the Islamic perspective, contributing to the growth in the society. Meanwhile, endowment is a general concept of distributing aid in a conventional way to aid in various developments. Hence, with the formation of Waqf and endowment funds, both can contribute as alternative financing mechanisms in empowering a sustainable growth in the education sector, moreover with the higher education institutions. Education sector continues to be developed since the period of past Islamic civilizations, and one of the remarkable achievements in education can be observed during the period of Islamic Golden Age. Generally, the education system in Islam also depended on the government's financial allocation. However, as the cost in pursuing education becomes expensive, public funding becomes the source of finance to support the sector, including the Waqf funds. A Waqf university is described as being established with both the concept and principles of Waqf. Al-Azhar is an example of the oldest and successful Waqf model established in the past. This university originally was built by utilizing the Waqf fee, but continues to be sustained with the existence of Waqf funds, or known as cash Waqf. Cash Waqf had existed since the establishment of past civilizations such as the Greek and Roman empires. This application sparked a debate among the classical and contemporary jurists in deciding on its validity as part of Waqf. However, later on, the majority of the jurists accepted the application of cash Waqf, moreover in financing the education sector as long as it is in accordance with the Sharia laws. Two methods of expanding cash Waqf were proposed, in which the first involved the direct distributions to the recipients, while the other method includes the separation of funds for direct distribution and investment in expanding the Waqf funds. The most important aspect in understanding the elements of Waqf funds is that these institutions are not considered to have the sole right on the Waqf funds, but the rights of the Waqf is owned by Allah SWT, and the institution acts as the manager or mutawali of the funds. All in all, Waqf application in the education sector, specifically is in empowering Islamic higher institutions, are very comprehensive to aid the successful development in education in the long run, as well as its application adhering to the laws of Islam. Meanwhile, endowment is a conventional concept practiced by most of the Western higher educational institutions. Since the establishments of the Western universities, such as the well-known Oxford University and also Cambridge University, beneficence were reported to have been the college's main source of funding. The sector of education can reduce their dependence on only a source of funding, which can restrict the expanding of educational institutions due to a limit in the university's financial allocations. The concept of endowment by reflection indeed is very similar to Waqf, as mentioned earlier, due to its aspect of being a charitable act. The idea of an English trust, which was initiated by Merton College's founder, Walter de Merton, and located in Oxford, prove that the endowment concept in Western educational institutions were inspired from the Waqf implementation. Harvard's management had revealed the amount of allocations of its endowment fund invested in various investment mechanisms offered by the conventional banks, which contribute to a considerable amount of return. Despite having similar concepts in both existing structures, Waqf and endowment are still different in the matter of its administration. Contrasting Waqf, it was observed that the administration of the funds in ensuring proper distributions within the Western institution is executed by assigning the head of the university. Hence, the element of ownership of the endowment deduced to belong to the institution. Three types of endowment were analysed to be implemented in financing the education sector, namely true endowment, term endowment, and also quasi-endowment, or also known as funds functioning. It is important for the maintaining of endowment funds by the Western educational institutions to help finance more development in the education sector, besides being the source of reducing the costs borne by the underprivileged students in continuing their studies. As the inclusion of both Waqf and endowment funds continues to be recognized as an alternative funding for financing the higher educational institutions, issues are inclined to arise due to its still developing role and implementation within the sector. Primarily, it was analysed that there is a lack of awareness amongst the community in educational institutions on the application of Waqf funds as a financial support during the study period. The research conducted had concluded that although the awareness of Waqf as financial assistance within the institutions are much lower than endowment, both are still registering a low acknowledgement by the community of educational institutions, specifically in the tertiary level. Besides, the complex governing of Waqf compared to the endowment had delayed the rapid development of the education sector. As the Waqf funds need to be managed according to the Sharia law, the governing authorities involve jurisdiction, which can be time-consuming. Lastly, endowment funds are less restricted than Waqf, which expose it to the uncertain elements in the expansion of the funds. Hence, all these issues need to be managed with a proper and comprehensive solution. Addressing the issues mentioned previously, 3 solutions are proposed with an integrated approach in improving the implementation of Waqf and endowment funds in the sector. Firstly, awareness can be encouraged with thorough planning of networking and advertising the application for Waqf placement. Prevalent requirements, publicizing and advertising efforts need to always be comprehensive, moreover if the university enforces a collection of data. Next, the complex governance of Waqf can be overcome by appointing or establishing a religious organization office within the university itself. The cost of having bigger structure in approving the system of Waqf in aiding financial support within the education sector could also be reduced with the establishment of minimal structural organization. Lastly, an approach similar to Waqf which prohibits certain elements need to also be specified in the structure of general endowment. This can then ensure the sustainability of the funds to be aiding the financial limitation within the tertiary education level, with the return of investment becoming more stable to contribute to its recipients. Overall, the comprehensive implementation of both Waqf and endowment funds are vital in empowering a sustainable higher education sector. Both alternative financing structures may reduce the possibility of limited funding within the sector, which will then contribute to a smooth operation of the education sector.